Hello everyone, this is Siddhant Ray here. In today's video, I am going to be talking about a library in Python called News API. As the name suggests, this library can be programmed in an order that it can give us news. News API is a simple JSON, which is JavaScript object notation based REST representational state transfer API for searching and retrieving news articles from all over the web. Using this, one can fetch the top stories running on a news website or can search top news on a specific topic. In our code, how this library will basically work is that if we want to listen to the news of any country, it will go into the server and take the news of that specific country and speak it out for the user. It is not an easy task to program this application, but at the same time, it is not impossible to. The library is complex and vast as it stores news of each type from almost every country. So, without any further ado, let's begin coding.
So I've decided to have a different approach to this video since the code for this program is pretty lengthy. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be making a new Python file and then going to be coding the entire newsbot program, and then I'll be explaining what each line does. So without wasting any time, let's begin coding. So first I'm going to be making a new Python file. So let's name it as news for youtube.py. So the .py here stands for a Python file. You can even see the logo of Python over here. So now first let's import the four modules which we need for making this program. So the first module is news API. From news API import news API client. The second library or module which we need is import requests. The third one is import JSON. So what JSON basically is, it is JavaScript object notation. So it is basically a lightweight data format and it has many similarities to the dictionaries of Python. So these JSON objects are extremely useful as the browsers or websites, they can quickly parse them, and that is like absolutely ideal for transporting the data between a client and a server. The last module is speech recognition. Import speech underscore recognition as SR. So now we have successfully imported the modules. Now let's define some strings. Def speak str colon. So what I'm going to basically now code is for making the program speak. From win32com.client import dispatch. Now we'll define a variable. Speak is equal to dispatch bracket cp dot sp voice, and remember this has to be in single quotes. Speak dot speak bracket str. So this was it for making the assistant speak. So we'll define like a variable. So def command brackets colon r is equal to sr dot recognizer brackets with sr dot microphone as source. There has to be brackets here and a colon here to complete the sentence. Print. So what I'm coding right now is for speech recognition. So when we'll run the program, this is what it is going to print, so that the user knows that the assistant is listening to the program. I am listening to what you're saying dot dot dot. So I've added 3 dots to make it look more natural. R dot pause underscore threshold is equal to 1. Audio is equal to r dot listen bracket source. try, print, recognizing. So what I'm coding currently is what the assistant is going to print if, like, when it is in the process of recognizing the speech. So we'll define a variable query is equal to r.recognize underscore Google bracket audio comma language is equal to en comma in brackets close. So en comma in here stands for Indian English. Print f. You said in these curly brackets query. So the program, it is going in the terminal window, it is going to print you said and whatever was in the query. So query was whatever the program recognized in the speech recognition part, and then it is going to print you said whatever was in the query. So that was pretty simple. Now the next part is over here. We just need to put a /n to complete the whole sentence. Now any try function is not complete without an except function. So if it is trying and it is not able to recognize the audio, so there has to be some backup message or something which needs to be provided to the user, or the program, it can't just stop like working. So except exception as e print would you mind repeating that, return none. So this line, it means that if the program wasn't able to recognize what the user said, it is going to print would you mind repeating that, and it is going to return nothing. And then lastly it will return query, whatever it could recognize. Now here comes the special function. When the program will be run, what will the program start doing? So if underscore underscore name underscore underscore is equal to me is equal to single quote underscore underscore main another two underscores colon speak hello, this is news bot full stop, I give the latest news from every country full stop, which countries news would you wait, there's some error, which countries news would you like to listen to. So when the code is first run, it is going to speak hello, this is newsbot, I give the latest news from every country, which country's news would you like to listen to. So let's run this program and let's test it out.
Hello. This is Newsbot. I give the latest news from every country. Which country's news would you like to listen to?
And it will stop the program since we haven't told the program to do anything after speaking this. So let's go ahead with our code. So we'll give a while loop over here, while true. So we'll define a variable. Let's just keep it as query. Query is equal to command. So we had defined the variable of command over here. So it's coming in use over here. Brackets dot lower. So if So first let's code for news. If the user wants to listen to news from India, so if India or India. So India over here represents India with a capital I. Here it is all small and the last would be all caps, or India in query. So query here is what the speech recognition is going to recognize in this line. If you would remember in the 21st line of the code. So if India is in query, what it is going to do is URL is equal to. So now let's go to news API India news. Yeah. So from here, let's quickly copy this. Control C, Control V, and we'll have to put it in single quotes. So what this thing, so if you don't have an account, so I have my account over here with my email ID. So when you don't have an account and you try to search for news API Indian news, you'll get this web page, but and you'll get this link too, but you won't get any API key. But for this program, we need the API key. The API key is basically these digits, which are like alphabetical also and numerical also. So for making an API key, you just need to type news API, make API key. So they'll basically, when you click on get API key, they'll give you a certain code which you are not allowed to share with anybody, and you'll be shown the API key only once. So remember to copy it somewhere like on a Word document or on a Notepad document so that you don't like lose it. So it will lead us to this URL. Like it won't lead us to the URL, but the program will itself go to this URL, and then it is going to speak loading, please wait, because the program is going to take some time to like recognize the audio and then go to the web page and then extract the top 10 headlines. Then we'll give a break. Now if USA, so this code, it is kind of incomplete since we haven't defined any speak function, but don't worry, the speak function is going to come at the last like 7-8 lines of the code. So let's like give news of some more countries. So let's take like 2 more countries. Let's say USA and Canada. So if USA or USA or USA in query, URL is equal to. So one shortcut trick to not go to the website of US again and again, like if some normal user would do it, he would click on news API USA headlines, and then it would lead him to this website, and then he would have to copy the whole thing. So it's a lengthy process. Instead of that, we can just select this, copy it, and paste it over here. So it is the same as India. The only thing we'll change is country is equal to IN. We'll just change it to US. Otherwise, the whole thing is the same. And then the same code. Speak. Control V. The whole thing is the same basically. So for making Canada more shorter, we can just copy this entire thing. Control V. So if Canada or Canada with the C capital or Canada in query, the URL which the program will go to is this, and we just need to change US to CA. For confirming once, we can just go to news API Canada headlines, Canada news API.org, and country is equal to CA. Perfect. Country is equal to CA, and the API key was already copied from here, and speak loading period break. Done. Now let's come to an important part in the program. So if the speech recognition, like the program, it does not recognize any country, it will give else speak And remember, all of these have to be elif, not if, because if function can be used only once after a while loop. So else speak, wrong input, please try again. Now comes the main part. So we'll define a variable, let's name it respond. Responded is equal to requests dot get bracket URL. Yeah. And then let's define another variable, text is equal to response dot text. There's some indentation error. It needs to be over here. Then let's define another, data loads is equal to JSON dot loads bracket text, the variable which we defined over here. Variable 1, another variable is equal to f playing top 10 news from there's some error here. We have named it as respond, so it has to be respond. Yes, playing top 10 news from whatever is in the query. And yeah, that's it. Then it will speak whatever is there in variable 1, the variable which we just like declared over here. Then what it is going to speak, for I in range, it is going to speak 1 comma 10. So 1 comma 10 means it is going to like take the range of the first to 10th headlines, and then it is going to speak that. Print data loads square brackets single quotes articles. This should be square brackets. Articles I title, and this has to be in single quotes. Speak data loads articles I title. That's it. The whole code is done. There's one error. We need to put a colon here. And indentation error. Yes, the entire code is ready. So let's finally try it out. New terminal.
Hello. This is Newsbot. I give the latest news from every country. Which country's news would you like to listen to?
Module speech recognition has no attribute named recognizer. Yeah, there's a typo. Recognizer. Control S. Terminal. New terminal. Let's run the code.
Hello. This is Newsbot. I give the latest news from every country. Which country's news would you like to listen to?
India.
Loading. Please wait. Playing top 10 news from India. India is now a $3.1 trillion economy, Times of India. More than 17,000 new COVID cases in Delhi, positivity rate 17.73%, NDTV. China's Xi extends support, lauds Kazakhstan's president for decisive action, Hindustan Times. Kaunbanagi Shikarwati review, hodgepodge of a series about dysfunctional royalty, moneycontrol.com. FM Nirmala Sitharaman reviews progress on planned Megalic IPO, moneycontrol.com. 3 winter millets that can help boost immunity, Times of India. EC withdraws Sonu Sood's appointment as state icon of Punjab, The Indian Express. Starlink deliveries slow amid chip shortage, FedEx delays, PC Mag India. Jaish-e-Mohammed terrorists conduct recce of RSS headquarters, Hedge war Bhavan in Nagpur, security tightened, Times Now.
So as you all saw, it worked perfectly fine. So that was it for the working of the NewsBot program. I hope you liked it.
You will find the entire code shown in this video in the description box below. However, try to avoid indentation errors while programming. If you guys enjoyed today's video, please smash the like button. Also, please do subscribe to my YouTube channel Siddhant'S Coding World. See you soon everyone. Bye for now.